The cluster ring. It's been used for hundreds of years. I've done these before. It's high time we do another one. We're working with a pink sapphire. We're working with platinum and with 18 karat. Why platinum? Because
it's so much better than white gold.
Let's face it, guys, I love this stuff. We're putting a stone in the center. We've got something running around it to emphasize it. I've got my own way of making them. This is what this video is about. Maybe you can use this in your own workshop. I've got a center stone that I'm starting with. Everything else builds around the center stone. We build everything away from that. Everything has to enhance the center stone. As I said, I'm working with platinum, so the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little setting exactly the same diameter as the stone. I often make a little round setting and then just squeeze it with some parallel jaw pliers. I sometimes use an oval triplet. I'm making a straight setting, by the way, otherwise I could have used the punch. I'm looking for the diameter, but I don't know what it is as a strip length. So a quick way of working this out is you're taking the height of the oval and you take the width of the oval, you put those two together and then you divide that by 2. That gives you a basic point to make a round. What am I trying to achieve with the little diamonds, in this case, going around the center stone? I'm trying to eliminate their individuality. I want them to all work together to give me reflection on a particular area, draw attention towards the middle stone. I'm packing them out. How much space can I eliminate in between each one of the stones and get it as close as possible towards the center stone without compromising its structure? We want to stick with even numbers. A lot of planning needs to go into this because once you execute it, there's a lot of work that goes into this and you do not want to reverse and have to remake things. And then once I've got the measurements and the sizes and everything absolutely aligned, I'm printing it onto the actual metal from here onwards. Essentially, I'm creating a stencil which I'm cutting out. I'm creating the scallops on the sides. Now the scallops are the same size as the diamonds, same principle. I don't want extra metal sticking out, I just want to see the diamonds. And I'm creating the little section in the center which I've just made the little setting for, meaning that I can now take them as 2 puzzle pieces and fit them together. Now it allows me to see exactly where those claws are going to be, being 1/3 into the space. 1/3 of the claw needs to be cut away, 2/3 of the claw needs to be the strength of it. I leave about 1 millimeter proud. I want that middle stone to be slightly higher. If they're all flat, it just looks like a plate, so you want that elevation. This is music. Let's move over to the bottom section. So the bottom section does this thing where I have a mimic of the oval setting from the top. I'm needing to have the same structure because these claws are going to come up and they're going to form around an oval structure. So I'm using an oval structure at the bottom. Also for the design point of view, it makes more sense. This is the beautiful part of the ring. This is, somebody called it a ballet setting. Did you hear that? Did you see that in one of the comments? Ballet setting, probably because of the grace. Mark out the amount of stones that you have and cut little grooves for those wires to lie down into them. Let's start off with flat wires and then we're going to form them around the ring. We need a tapering shank. Why? Because this is quite a high setting. I personally enjoy hammering them. Where I solder it, I utilize that area where I've soldered it as my top point. Once I'm done with all my work, the bottom has no soldering mark. Am I being fussy?
You are, and I think that's good.
I can see that the setting has a little rounding with the wires. I want to mimic that rounding onto the material. I'm judging that by eye. Once I've cut it, I can always adjust it. But note that I'm not going all the way to the bottom. We're going to take that and put a little ball phrase in the wall thickness going up, so that when I bring this part together and I engage the two parts, that the claw of that wire sits inside the shank itself. If you can put this together all dry without having to solder and it sits, then it just makes soldering so much easier. You're soldering these rings together, you've got platinum, you've got 18 karat. You can't use the platinum solder. The melting point's too high for the 18 karat, so you've got to use an 18 karat solder. Which 18 karat I'm going to use? Remember, I've removed the soldering mark. There is no solder on the ring. I'm going to use the hardest one I possibly can, and I'm not going to use a lot of it. Now guys, you either send it to the setter, or you watch some of the setting videos that we've done, or you speak to a setting friend or watch a setting video. We're just setting the stones, and this kind of set work, if you've done it right, is just a joy. I hope that there's something over here that you can use. There's a million different ways of doing this. This is the way we do it, and my customers always have a big smile on their face. So I know something that I'm doing is right. If you found value in this content that we're creating, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to take your support to the next level, I love coffee. You're more than welcome to buy me one. Everything that we get goes directly back into the channel, which goes directly back out to you. Thank you very much for watching. As always, we will see you on the next video. Cheers!